What's up, Totem Pole Nation, and welcome back to the Recruiting Trail. This is episode 35, the Wisconsin Badgers. Coming off a 7-5 year, bowl eligible under first year with Luke Fickell. Obviously, he brought Cincinnati to some great places, and he's trying to get Wisconsin back to their glory days as well. Thank you to Sideline Sports Network, as always, for the platform. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to support the boys by getting some merch like this hoodie, like that shirt, like that hat, I got a hat over here somewhere too. Anything like that, totempolenation.com. It's in the ticker. Let's go.
All right, Wisconsin football. All right, they're currently ranked number 24. They have 18 commits. They have 0 5-stars, 7 4-stars, and 14 3-stars. They're trying to rebuild the program. Go ahead and see if Wisconsin can be one of the top dogs in the conference next season.
Right. So like you said, 21 commits, no 5-stars as of right now. But looking at their depth chart, they're losing running back Braylon Allen to the NFL. He declared earlier today that he will not be returning. They're also losing one wide receiver to the transfer portal. He never saw the field, so not losing any production. Tanner Mordecai at QB is obviously gone at the end of this year as well, and there's not a lot of depth behind him. So starting running back and starting quarterback will both be gone next year. Those are obviously big places to fill some gaps. They need to fill a hole or two on the O-line, and they have more than one or two to fill on the D-line. The linebacker room is a mix of youth and experience, most likely losing a linebacker to the draft, but they have a couple grad transfers back there as well that, have 1 year of eligibility left, but it is going to be a position of emphasis for sure. The DB room is pretty similar. Definitely spaces that need to be filled either through recruiting, or hammering the portal. So starting off with the recruiting aspect, we're going to get into their top 5 commits so far, starting here with 4-star running back, good fill, Dylan Jones, 5'11", 180 from Our Lady Good Counsel High School in Olney, Maryland. 133rd ranked player nationally, the 7th ranked running back in the class, and the 3rd best player out of Maryland. He was Max Prep's Junior All-America second team selection and the WCAC Player of the Year last year. He's also a very good wrestler, much like this next guy, 4-star D lineman, Dylan Johnson. He's not just a good wrestler. He's a very, very accomplished wrestler. 3-time state champion in the heavyweight division, and at one point was ranked as the nation's number 2 heavyweight wrestler per Mat Scouts. So this guy he can put his hands on you and you're not going to go the direction you want to go. He's 150th nationally as a D lineman, the 26th D lineman in the country, and the 6th best player out of Illinois. He's 6'2", 287 from Joliet Catholic Academy in Illinois. Both of his brothers are currently D1 offensive and defensive linemen, so he's filling in their shoes very well. But he's just bringing 3 state championship rings with him to the next level. Their number 3 overall commit, 4-star offensive tackle, Kevin Haywood. He's 6'7", 290 out of Pope John Paul II High School in Royersfield, Pennsylvania. 185th nationally, the 16th ranked tackle and the 3rd ranked player in the state of Pennsylvania. This is a quote from his evaluation on 247 Sports by Brian Doan. Athleticism pops when asked to pull from right tackle spot. Has no issue getting to spot to block edge rusher on trap blocks on either side of the offensive line formation. So what that tells me as a tackle is that he can pull like a guard. He can move across the entirety of the offensive line regardless of what his assignment is. He's going to be able to get there. He can get there with speed and not give it up to edge rushers coming around. So, obviously not going to play right away, but 6'7", 290 with the Wisconsin strength coach coming up, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with pretty soon, I would imagine, especially, with, like I mentioned, the offensive line needing a few holes to be filled. Not saying he'll play his freshman year. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying there is improvement to be had, and he's definitely adding to that on the right track. Their number 4 overall commit is a tight end, 4-star Grant Steck, 6'6", 220 from Harry D. Jacobs High School in Algonquin, Illinois. He's the 20th ranked tight end in the country, as well as the 8th ranked player in the state of Illinois. Great ball skills, but he can also line up as an inline blocker. So a lot of times when you see tight ends, especially, he's the 20th tight end, which is, 20th in the whole country is crazy. He's really good. But, outside of those top 5 at their position, especially when it comes to tight end, there's a lot to learn when it comes to being an inline blocker, lining up next to a tackle, not having any pass catching responsibilities on a set of plays or on a certain formation. That's just, something that a lot of tight ends have to learn. He's been playing tight end at, the truest form of the position as both a catcher and a blocker. So he looks to be in a position to make a pretty quick impact, not having to wait too long behind the guys in front of him. So rounding out their top 5 is a 4-star edge, and I apologize now. He's from Hawaii. Anilu Lefeli. Excuse me if I mispronounced that. He's 6'3", 222 from Farrington High School in Honolulu, Hawaii. 25th ranked edge, 3rd ranked player in the state of Hawaii, and was a Polynesian Bowl roster selection. So, Luke Fickell obviously brought Cincinnati to the college football playoff with a roster full of 4 and 3 stars, right? Desmond Ridder, he was a good QB. He was a 4-star QB. All their skill position guys, they were 4-star guys. So the fact that this Wisconsin team doesn't have a 5-star commit in this class isn't super worrisome for me, just given the success that Fickell has had in the recent past with similar type recruiting classes, with similar caliber players on the field. I'm not saying that, the next quarterback that he recruits is going to be an NFL player. I'm just saying that he has elevated certain guys who weren't picked up by other schools, even though they were 4 stars and stuff, to being nationally recognized players. And now at Wisconsin, a team that is known traditionally for their, success of the past, much like, if you've watched any of our videos, I'm a Virginia Tech fan. It's a very similar thing. People have respect for these schools, Wisconsin, Virginia Tech. There's like Nebraska, teams like that, because in the early 2000s and the 90s, and even up until, the early 2010s, these were very competitive and relevant football teams, right? Fickell, I definitely think, is the right man to get them back to that spot. And it's not going to be a regular occurrence, I don't think, for this to be a mid-20s class with few super notable commits, and they really haven't. I understand it just started, but they've only had one guy not declare, but go into the portal so far. I'm sure that those numbers will fluctuate, but I do think that, Fickell is he'd be a coach that I'm very comfortable with if I was a Wisconsin fan.
Well, that comes to Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin will be fine. I know, Michigan's up there and Ohio State's up there, Penn State. I get it. They'll be back because there'll be some, like I said, it's conference alignment, so there'll be some changes in the other teams. So I think Wisconsin will be more of a center and have more of a chance to at least compete maybe for a conference championship. But I just don't see that right now. But Wisconsin, they'll be good. But you're not going to top Michigan, Penn State, and Ohio State. That's
right. Well, so as of right now, they have the 6th ranked class in the Big Ten, and that includes the schools that are coming in from the Pac-12. So, it's above middle of the pack because I think they're at like 16 or something schools, maybe more than that at this point in the Big Ten. But, being 6th, you're in that top third. If you have a great transfer class this year, which I wouldn't put it above Fickell to do that, he's very capable as a recruiter. So I'd imagine transfer portal wise, he could do similar things. If you can put a good transfer class together this year with the 6th ranked class in the Big Ten, you could be competitive, especially with, they're getting rid of divisions next year. So it's everybody straight up. That's clearly going to be, Michigan, Ohio State, probably 8 times out of 10, with maybe Penn State, getting in there sometime. But if the trajectory continues, I think of Wisconsin going back up to where, I think for us, at least when we started watching college football, Wisconsin was still a relevant school. So getting them back to, what we recognize them as, being mid-20s, I think they're on the right track for sure.
That's all I have. You can
Word. All right, cool. Well, thank you, everyone. This was episode 35 of the Recruiting Trail. We're doing 3 new schools every week. So if you want, you can throw it on the message boards. Let the Wisconsin Badgers have at us, whether they agree or disagree. If you agree or disagree with any of our any of my evaluations, and if you have any commits, targets, transfers, anything that you wanted to see highlighted that I didn't cover, leave it in the comments. We'll get back to you. We appreciate the engagement. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. As always, thank you for watching. Have a good